It's your boy Ben and JB from JBM Sports Media coming at you guys with another video. Today we have our NFL Week 18 predictions. Yes, this is the last week of the regular season in the NFL, which is crazy. It went by so quick. Another NFL season that goes by super quick. And yes, this is it right here. It all comes down to Week 18. There's a lot up for grabs. We're going to get into it today, give you guys our Week 18 predictions for a lot of the key matchups. It's going to be a juicy episode here today, talking a lot of NFL. Before we get into it, JB, you got anything you want to say?
Go Jets.
Oh my gosh, life of a bum, guys. Life of a bum.
It's crazy how fast this season goes. And you know they keep extending it. They keep adding a game here, a game there, a game here, a game there, and it's just
right.
Like you blink and it's over. I mean, it's like, you know, end of summer hits, football starts, and now we're literally talking about spring training starts next month for baseball. So it's just crazy how this season goes so quick. It's really. And it's 3 games a week, Monday, Thursday, Sunday, and you just can't get enough of it, and it's over.
Yeah, this is the exciting time right here. This is what it's all about for the role for the Lombardi. And it all starts this weekend. Like I said, a lot of teams that are still fighting for a lot of big-time implications, more so division titles. Number 1 seed, we'll get into that right now. Technically, the number 1 seed is up for grabs for both conferences, if you really think about it still. So let's really quickly, before we get into it, let's look at the current playoff picture, the current seeding right now. So we have the Broncos at the 1 seed on the AFC. We have the Seahawks on the 1 seed in the NFC. And right now, if the playoffs start, it would be Bears, Packers, 2 seed, 7 seed, Rams, Eagles, 3 seed, 6 seed. And Panthers are currently right now in, we'll talk about the game right now. 49ers are the 5th seed, Steelers, Texans, 4 seed, 5 seed, Jacks and Chargers, 3 seed, 6 seed, and Bills, Pats, 2 and 7. That would be great. All right, so now, I mean, we're going to see if anything changes right here. We're about to give you guys our thoughts and our predictions. This is currently the Week 18 schedule right here. We have some key matchups. Like I said, we have 2 games on Saturday. The Buccaneers and Panthers, 49ers and Seahawks. Sunday Night Football is going to be the Ravens and the Steelers. Yeah, this is going to be fun. All right, which game should we get into first? I think we should get into the Saturday games first, obviously. Let's get into it. Starting off with the Panthers and Buccaneers Saturday. The Job Squad. Who wants the NFC South? Who wants it? Should be nobody, to be honest.
Listen, this is like, to me, I'm not trying to sound crazy, but this is like 2 blind people trying to run a marathon. That's what this reminds me of. I mean, if the Bucs win the division and get in at 8-9, I mean, do you call it a successful season? I mean, I don't because I think it's going to be a quick first round exit. If the Bucs do get it, and I don't see Carolina making any noise in the playoffs either.
No.
Not for nothing, I'm going to go Panthers here. I don't like the way the Bucs have been playing. I think the Panthers win the division. I think they're a grittier football team. I'll tell you that. I do feel like when their backs are against the wall, they do try to come together as a team. I just don't see how Baker Mayfield is going to all of a sudden have this epiphany and play well. I know the Panthers are probably, you know, the more least competitive team compared to the teams that Baker has played. But if you look at the losses that Baker and the Bucs have had, teams against like the Saints, the Falcons, I mean, these are games that if they would have won, this game really wouldn't mean anything, and they probably would have wrecked the division probably, you know, maybe mid-December or the start of December. If they had a better month, this division could have been wrapped up.
Yeah.
And now I was reading earlier in the day that Mayfield's dealing with a knee and a shoulder issue. So he's going into this game banged up. If the Panthers are hearing about that, their defense is probably foaming at the mouth, and they're going to try to do everything they can. They're going to do everything they can to kill this guy. Literally, their season's on the line. Win, get in, lose, and go home. That's basically how it is. So I'm going to go with the Panthers. I think they're right now the more cohesive unit. I think Todd Bowles is in la-la land, and I think the Bucs overall offensively have been brutal, and they can't get out of their own way. So I'm going Panthers with this game. And taking the NFC South.
When I try to break down this game in, like, I guess, scenarios on how it could play out, obviously, yes, it's in Tampa. And I look at both offenses. Which one do I trust the most? I hate that I'm doing this to myself because they've just been so disappointing. But I trust the Buccaneers offense just a little bit better right now.
I don't blame you for that. And it's logical. It's the logical way to think.
Yeah. Right now, currently, with the way that the Buccaneers team is constructed, I feel like, you know, the running game hasn't been that effective. Yes, Bucky Irving came back from IR. Rachaad White, he's been inconsistent. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Emeka Ibuka. Obviously, Ibuka hasn't been the best since his hot start. I just like the Buccaneers at home, but the Panthers and the way that like you said, they are gritty. They do have that gritty factor to them. I will admit that. I think it's been a more uprising year for Bryce Young than not, considering how he had the previous years. Just I would have to say, for them to be in the situation, let alone fighting for the South, it's a great thing for them in their future, because now they're just going to build on this momentum, maybe make some key acquisitions in the offseason, just keep on going. Do I think that the Buccaneers win this game? I do have the Buccaneers winning this game. I feel like I'm going to trust that offense a little bit better. And who knows? I feel like you see how Bryce Young played against the Seahawks previously. I know Seahawks have a great defense, but I'm just scared he'll have moments in this game where he'll get a little bit flustered. It is a big-time game. It's probably his first big-time game,
yes,
for
absolutely,
something this huge and, implications like this. That's why I feel like Buccaneers, Baker with the experience, yes, he's dealing with the banged-up knee, but I think that's where they will, succeed right here from experience, and I think the Buccaneers will win. However, do I think they will win the NFC South? No, because if we could go back to the Week 18 slate, I do believe that the Falcons are going to beat the Saints. And mathematically, if the Falcons beat the Saints, the Panthers advance, not the Buccaneers, even if the Buccaneers win against the Panthers on Saturday. So I do have the Falcons beating the Saints, a little jobber prediction for this game that nobody's going to be watching. I do have the Falcons beating the Saints. And I do think that's going to cost the Buccaneers, and it's going to be a bite you in the ass type of moment right there. Because with that happening, the Buccaneers are out. The Panthers are in the playoffs. So I think that's going to happen. So I do think the Buccaneers beat the Panthers at home, but I do think with the Falcons winning in Atlanta, that they are going to cost the Buccaneers a playoff spot. And it's going to be hey, you've been sucking and you've been trash this whole year. I know you got that win, but guess what? It doesn't matter. You guys
doesn't
are
matter.
Out. Yep.
Yeah, and the fact that they couldn't control their own destiny when I believe they were 7-3 or 7-4, and the fact they've been on this horrible 6-week stretch is just really it's really crazy to me. I think there was a point where we could have said that they were a top 5 team in the NFC, and that's just not the case anymore now.
Not the case.
And not for nothing, if Carolina can somehow help Young and take the pressure off him, and if they could get Rico Dwaddle and Chuba Hubbard to run the football properly and effectively, I don't know if the Bucs are going to win. I just don't know. Look at what they've been doing the last 5 or 6 weeks, and tell me if you're confident. I'm going to say no. What you're doing is 100% logical. They are the better football team technically on paper. They have the better offense, the better quarterback, and the better run game when Bucky Irving is playing at 100%. I'll even take him being better when he's 80% than the two guys that the Panthers have in Dwaddle and Chuba Hubbard. But I don't know. The confidence to me right now lies with Carolina. I think that they want it a little bit more. I don't see any fire from this Bucs team. Even when they make a couple of good plays and have a good drive, they just don't look like they're having fun. And I just see themselves shooting themselves in the foot, even with playing at home in front of their crowd, with everything on the line. I just think Carolina wasn't supposed to be here, bro. We all know that.
We know that. This
is a year or two, maybe faster than what we expected. Maybe like 2027, 2028, we could have expected Carolina to really come into their own. So I'd say that they're 2 years ahead of schedule, and I think they're going to really use this as a big stepping stone, and I think they're going to win this game. I'm taking Carolina here.
Like I said, I think there's moments where I feel like Bryce Young will be flustered in a big game type of this, and if the run game isn't there for Carolina, I don't see a way they win this game. The run game has to establish itself pretty early in this game for them. They played against each other a few weeks ago, I believe it was, and it was 23-20. Panthers did win. I think it's going to be similar. I think, like I said, the Buccaneers will win this game. I'm very, I wouldn't say confident, but let's just say I'm going to go with my gut and say the Buccaneers will win this game. But I don't think it's going to matter because I do feel like the Falcons are going to win. The Saints are not going to have Chris Olave, so take that into consideration. They found blood clots in his lungs, so
oh wow.
So he's going to be out for this game. Tyler Shough has been playing very good football, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Yes, I'm about to give you guys a jobber game prediction right here. I think the Falcons will beat the Saints, and
and it's crazy. Game. It's crazy. Just to wrap this up with the NFC South, the Falcons could have won this division if they
Yeah,
were
they
playing
could
good
have.
football. If they were playing good football in November, they could have had November and December, and they could have probably snuck in and won this division. So it's really crazy how this whole thing played out, and they probably should have played Kirk Cousins from the start of the year. I don't think
Absolutely, you're 100% right.
Michael Penix was not ready. He didn't look ready. He didn't look comfortable ever. And you know what? It's actually kind of a punch in the gut to Bijan Robinson because he had another phenomenal year. I think he's amassing 1,300 yards on the ground.
Yeah, that guy's
and it's just really a shame. So this division could have been up in the air with three teams, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know the Saints really came into their own grounds and played great. So
Absolutely.
That'll be an improvement for them next year as well. But regardless how you look at it, I do feel like the Panthers are going to advance, and technically win the NFC South with that. Going to be 8-9 team to make the playoffs, which
crazy.
That makes me absolutely sick. All right, let's go to another game that's on Saturday, and that is the Saturday night game for the number 1 seed in the NFC for the NFC West. The Seahawks and the 49ers, a rivalry game right here in Santa Clara. I think, man, this is going to be probably the game of the week if I have to say so. This is absolutely going to be the game of the week. Yeah, I'm so excited to watch this one. Who do you got winning this game, JB? And give us your breakdown on it more so.
I have the Niners. I have the Niners winning this game. I just think with the way Purdy is with that offense and how efficient he could be, and then obviously you got CMC, who's just a complete beast on both sides of the passing and running side of the game, and their defense, even without Fred Warner, they were solid. I mean, everyone was like, "Oh, you're losing the heart of your defense," and not for nothing. I totally understand that, but they have come together. Kyle Shanahan has had a phenomenal season in terms of getting this team to literally one win away of not only clinching the 1 seed, but clinching the NFC West. So I have no faith right now. Listen, Sam Darnold has been absolutely phenomenal ever since he took off a Jet jersey. So I have to give him props. He had a great season with Minnesota last year. It was a one-and-done season, obviously, there with J.J. McCarthy being the future for the Vikings. But, they had a great year. And now, honestly, with Seattle, I think their future is really bright too. But Sam's going to have to prove to me that he can win a big football game. I think that's his biggest problem right now, getting over the hump, is winning a meaningful game. Go out there and you win this game, and you'll be in the driver's seat when it comes to getting into the playoffs. But I just don't see them having enough firepower to beat this San Francisco team right now.
Yeah, I'm actually, trying to break down this game and how it could play out. The 49ers have a lot of questionable players heading into Saturday. Kittle, Trent Williams, McCaffrey, I know he's dealing with his back thing, but he's going to play. But still, to me, I love how dynamic the 49ers offense has been with Jawan Jennings, Pierce Saul's back, thankfully. McCaffrey, you talk highly about him. Obviously, he rightfully deserves that with the level that he's been playing at. Still, it feels like he doesn't age, kind of like the same way as Derrick Henry, to be honest.
Yeah.
But when you look at, I don't know, the Seahawks defense, I just really, really like, from their linebackers to their corners. I think that's an all-around great unit that they have there. If Sam Darnold, for the Seahawks to win this game and have a deep postseason run, he's going to have to take care of the football. Yes, this is a big game. It's in San Fran. It's going to have a big-time playoff feel. I mean, let alone this is probably going to feel like an NFC Championship-esque game, because if the 49ers win this game, they're going to have basically home court all the way through. If they make it to the Super Bowl, even better. They're going to be at Levi Stadium. So, look, I do believe if I had to pick right now, I would go with the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks defensively are going to cause Brock Purdy some troubles. I mean, we saw in that Sunday Night Football game how dynamic that 49ers offense was. It's because the Bears weren't playing a lick of D. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they looked shot out there. I mean, both teams, to be honest, weren't playing a lick of D. The Niners could have lost that game, and this wouldn't even have been a thing right here.
Right.
And Caleb Williams, obviously, would have found a way to score right there or passed or whatever it may be. They could have won that game. This wouldn't even have been a meaningful game, to be honest, at this point. So I do feel like the Seahawks defense is going to cause the Niners problems right here, flush their Purdy a little bit. I'm going to just have to say the only thing that worries me for the Seahawks is Sam Darnold. Do I trust them? No, not necessarily. Do I think this is going to be the game where he has that big, like, how do I say? Oh, man, this is another shitter from Sam Darnold. No, I don't think this is going to be the one. I think the one that it's going to happen. He's going to have that game where it's like, he shit the bed again. I think that's going to be in the playoffs. I don't think it's going to be here. So I think, Seahawks fans, you guys will be saved from for another few weeks, but that game's coming. I do believe that game's coming. But the Seahawks will get the 1 seed, and I think that defense will cause Purdy and the Niners some issues. By the way, I love the Seahawks dynamic duo right there at the back, Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. I think if they establish that running game early, and JSN and guys like Barner, guys like Rashid Shaheed, if they get going, it's just really tough to beat the Seahawks team. I'll be honest.
And Charbonnet's a monster in the red zone. I mean, the guy,
I know I said that, Darnold's going to have that Shedder-esque game, and yes, it could happen. But if you really think about it, Lumen Field in the playoffs, going to Seattle, that is like deafening, bro. I mean, I don't know if you remember, I'm pretty sure you do, like the Legion of Boom games over there, like
absolutely
deafening. Like it's crazy playing there. So as long as they have home field, Seattle, I think maybe he could avoid that, like, very protective, conservative type of play with the crowd, helping whatever team they face. So I maybe take that back, depending how this game goes. I could say, and I'm giving Sam Darnold the benefit of the doubt and that offense the benefit of the doubt, especially how I saw him come from behind against that Rams game a few weeks ago. I'm going to say the Seahawks win this and take that 1 seed. But if he shits the bed right here, I'll say this. If he does crap it, I will be the first one to admit I was wrong. But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt right here, and I think the Seahawks will get the 1 seed, and I think they'll control their own destiny throughout the playoffs. Yeah. Go ahead if you want to wrap up anything about this game.
No, yeah. So basically, just to wrap it up, I do think the injuries are definitely something to be a little bit concerned about. In terms of the Niners on the offensive side of the ball, like you had mentioned with Kittle, and their offensive line is a little banged up as well. But I think Kyle Shanahan could really draw up some interesting play calls, realizing the personnel that he's got and the personnel that he's dealing with. I still think that he'll be able to draw up a good offensive game plan. And as long as CMC is 85% in this game, as long as they got him, I think they'll be just fine and they'll be able to get the win. If Purdy could protect the ball and, make his throws and his plays when he has to, and he can even use his feet as well, bro. He's definitely a little agile. He can get out of the pocket and make some plays. So if that's the case where they're extending plays and they're protecting the ball and they're getting downfield, I'm gonna take the Niners and the play calling from Shanahan and the experience on that side.
Yeah, Shanahan for sure does have the experience. Not to discredit McDonald. McDonald has been crazy good for
absolutely.
The Seahawks. I think that was a great hire, and
underrated hire. Kind of went under the the table there, not really getting any notoriety, but that was a great move for them. It really was.
I think as long as the Niners have CMC going at least relatively early, I know he's not going to be at 100%. I think he's probably going to be at a roughly 85, 90, but good enough. They're going to be straight. I think they're going to be in this game. I don't see them. It's being maybe a 10-point game. I think it may be like a 3-point game, 4-point game, something like that, where it's very close to the very end. But I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I just like that defense a little bit better. I really do, and I think it's going to cost them. Because if the Niners go out there and play the type of defense they did last week against the Bears, I mean,
yeah, they're cooked in that regard. They'll be
they got to see how to adapt.
Yeah. You can't give up 38 points in a playoff game and expect to win. So
because that was at home last week against the Bears as well.
Absolutely. And it came down to one play. It came down to literally one play. So
yeah. So I'll go Seahawks. JV got the Niners. All right, let's look before we get into the Sunday Night Football game with the Steelers and Ravens. Let's look at some implications right here that we could have. Pretty fun right here. So throughout the rest of the games, we have Packers Vikings, more so for all the Packers fans out there. We're going to be starting the jobber Clayton Tune at quarterback, so don't expect nothing good right here. I'm not going to watch this game. I'll be honest. I am not going to watch this game. Look, I guarantee you, if I watch that game, it's going to be if like somebody has an incentive in that game. If not, I'm not watching it.
Right.
So you know what? I might watch that to see if Justin Jefferson could eclipse 1,000 receiving yards. That's the only reason I might watch that, because he hasn't eclipsed it yet, and which is a disgrace, by the way. We'll maybe talk about that in the offseason. Quarterback for them.
That's wild.
They might be cooked. Texans Colts. There is still a chance that the Texans could get the AFC South. By its chance, I mean like 2%, because I don't think the Jags are losing to the Titans at home. So,
No.
For the Texans to win the AFC South, the Jags have to lose to Tennessee in Jacksonville. Not happening. But for the Jags, I will say this: there is a chance they could still go up to the 2 seed. Wait, actually, this is a very fun one. I saw a stat that said that there's a chance the Jags could finish anywhere from the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 5th seed, 6th seed, or 7th seed. Anywhere from there, depending how this
Wow.
week goes. Depending how this week goes, anywhere from there. So that was a pretty fun stat.
It's a massive swing right there. From
Yeah, do not lose to Tennessee is what I'm trying to get to. Do not.
If
whatever.
they no, I mean you can't get this far and
Yeah.
fall. You can't fall to Tennessee.
Can't ward away. Come on, man.
No, Trevor Lawrence, you want to make your mark for this season. Go finish this game and go get a W. You lose to Tennessee, you should just get bounced out in the first round.
Yeah, bro.
That's you don't even deserve anything after that. So go finish the season. Go finish the season up.
Absolutely. But if the Jags do win this game, then they would have a chance to go up to the 2nd or 1st seed, which is fun. Because then in the late slate, they're going to be with the Patriots and the Dolphins, and also the Chargers and the Broncos. But we already know that the Chargers will not have Justin Herbert this weekend. Trey Lance will be starting for the Broncos. Jeez.
Wow.
That game, basically they're saying, well, with that game, everybody in the we'll see you in the playoffs. That's all they're saying.
I don't know what's worse. Phillip Rivers coming back to play 2 games, or Trey Lance having to just go out and figure it out for 4 quarters.
They put in the ticket. Whoever's going to this game, they're just going to see the Broncos clinch the 1 seed is what I'm trying to get to.
That's basically it.
That's it. The Chargers said, all right, we'll see you guys in the playoffs. I gave them their ticket. That's it. We're already in. We're starting Trey Lance. He's going to go have fun over there. Bring the parents out there. Might bring the parents. Come watch the game. It's going to be try to shut that Broncos defense. Good luck. Good luck, bro.
This is like a bye week for Denver, basically, at this point. Trey Lance, God. I mean,
Yeah, rest the starters, right? You're not beating Denver in Mile High. I'm sorry.
No.
Even if you had Herbert, you saw what the Texans defense did to Herbert this past week. Oh, just imagine what they would do to Herbert, bro.
Yeah, right. And there's no reason to expose Herbert twice to Denver if they have to play them in the playoffs again. So,
which could be true.
Let him have to play them in the playoffs.
Next we have the Patriots Dolphins, which I don't see a way the Patriots lose this game, to be honest. I know Quinn Ewers beat the Buccaneers last week, but it's the Buccaneers. You know what I mean? So we already crashed them.
Me and you could have beat the Bucs with the way they've been playing. So I mean, at this point,
but I do believe the Patriots will win. Even if they win, they secure the 2 seed. If the Broncos somehow lose this game, I think that'd be a generational fumble right there. If you lose to Trey Lance in Denver, and
Absolutely.
then the Patriots will take the 1 seed from you guys, or maybe contrary. The Jags, if both of these Broncos and Pats lose and y'all get the 1 seed, I mean, they'll be jumping for joy. But in reality, I think if you look at the current, for the AFC side at least, I think the Broncos, it's going to stay the same. Patriots, Jags, I think that's going to stay the same. I don't see none of those teams losing in Week 18, to be honest. Do you see any or anything like that?
No, I don't see anything changing on the AFC side when it comes to these guys playing.
All right, cool. I guess before we get into the Sunday Night Football, that's the last game we're going to touch. We could do real quick Bills-Jets. Josh Allen will not be starting for the Bills. Brady Cook will be starting for the Jets. This has some implications, I guess, for Buffalo, because if we look at it, they could fall anywhere from 7 to 6 to 5, depending. If they lose, which they might be low-key trying to lose to face up with the Patriots in the first round, is it smart to do that? I don't know.
No.
But would I rather face the Jags or the Patriots in the first round if I'm them? They beat the Patriots already.
I think I'd rather face the Patriots only because I think they could kind of rattle Drake May a little bit. I also think they could rattle Trevor Lawrence as well. I think Trevor Lawrence could go out. He could go out there and shit the bed and completely ruin the game and the season. I think maybe the Bills have seen the Patriots a little bit more, and they kind of match up decent against them. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills won that game or beat the Jags as well. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots went out and won this game in the wild card round. I would not be surprised. Drake May's had an MVP type season. Vrabel's had that team playing tip top on both sides of the football. They could run the football. They protect the football. Drake May can make a big play with his arm.
Right.
And the defense has been playing really good. So I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they played the Patriots, if the Patriots and the Bills match up in the first round. But I got to say this. If the Bills go out and lose to the Jets, I don't care if the Bills are playing their 3rd string, 4th string guys. You can't go lose to the Jets, bro. You just can't. You got Brady Cook playing quarterback. I play with better kids in high school than Brady Cook. I mean, and the kids that I play with aren't in the NFL. So I'll put that out there right now. So, I mean, what are we actually talking about here? I think you could bench 85% of that Bills team, and they still should beat the Jets. So
Yeah, because it looks like Trubisky's going to start for the Bills, actually. Trubisky, and I think James Cook, because he knows that the rushing title's still on the line. I think James Cook is going to play, actually. So
yeah, you can't go out. You can't go out and lay down to the Jets. I don't care what type of implications there are. I know they're in the playoffs no matter what, but go beat the Jets. Don't lose to the Jets going into the wild card round. That would just be a disgusting travesty, to be honest with you.
Yeah, especially in their last game at Orchard Park. This is it right here. This is the last game at home. At home more so at Orchard Park. I think if anything right here were to change, I know Buffalo's currently the 7th seed. I think the Chargers are actually going to finish the 7th seed because I don't think they're beating the Broncos. I think the Bills will beat the Jets. So I think it's just everything's going to go up. Just switch those two. That's the only thing. 7 and 6, switch those two. So the Bills will go to Jacksonville and the Chargers would go to the Patriots. Maybe the Chargers are trying to be smart and think that that's a more favorable matchup for them.
It would be if they're setting themselves up that way. If that's the way they're thinking, that's a pretty smart way to think because it's all about matchups. You don't want to face a really, really good team in round one. If you could face a team that you match up with better, then maybe it makes sense and you just take it from there. But obviously that makes sense if that's what they're trying to do.
All right, let's go through another some key matchups in the NFC. I guess some implications we have there. Let's look at the playoff bracket real quick. We have the Bears, Eagles. We talked about the 4-seed Panthers right now already. So when you look at the Bears and the Eagles specifically, their games, the Eagles are resting their starters. Hurts is not playing. I don't think Saquon's going to play against Josh Johnson and the Commanders. Jeez.
Yikes.
Yeah, and then the Bears and Lions. I don't know. I think the Bears are going to play their starters for a little bit. But, I mean, that's a game they could drop if they do not play their starters, I'll be honest. But then it's like you rather face the Packers or the Rams. So it's like, you know what I mean?
I mean, if you're Chicago, you'd probably rather face Green Bay.
Yeah, they would.
But I don't think they match up offensively really good against LA. And that Rams team. So if you're trying to be strategic here, I'd say you'd want to play Green Bay.
Absolutely. I actually think it's going to stay this way. I think the Bears will be locked into the 2 seed. The Eagles are going to be locked into the 3 seed. And like I said, I feel like it's not going to change. I don't see a way that changes. And yeah, that's pretty much that. If we're looking at, before we get into like the Sunday Night Football game, the tanking aspect of things, the Raiders, who currently have the number 1 overall selection at the current moment, they're facing the Chiefs, which I don't know, man. It's the Chiefs' offense has been
it's been up in the air. The Raiders may win that game, man.
If they win that game cost themselves the number 1 overall pick, I mean, that would be horrible.
And that's the thing. Are you really going to cost yourself a guy like Mendoza and win this game? Like, just there's no reason, there's no incentive to win this game. I know. Listen, and if I was a player, I would say the same thing, 100%. Max Crosby was asked the other day if he's excited about the potential fact that they are in line for the first pick overall in the upcoming draft. He goes, I don't play to worry about who we're going to draft in the first round, the 5th round, the 20th round. I go play to win, and I play to go help my teammates win. And my goal is to get the offense onto the field as quick as possible so they can go and score points. And that's literally the best answer you could give. I mean, at that point, there's nothing to play for other than losing this game, wrapping up the season, solidifying the 1 spot, and go draft Mendoza. I mean, that's what's going to help this team get over the hump. But the players aren't going to play to lose. If they lose, they lose because they lose. But they're not going to roll over and die so they can go out. Just so they can go out and draft a guy like Mendoza. But this is going to be a really interesting game, due to the fact that the Chiefs are out and they're banged up. Obviously, Mahomes out for the year. You got Gardner Minshew, manning the helm now.
No, he's not.
Actually, no, he's hurt. He's hurt, right? He's out for the year.
Yeah, he's done for.
He tore his Achilles, right?
No, I think it was a bruise in his MCL. I think it was the ACL.
Oh, was it?
Or ACL? Okay. I think not ACL tear. It wasn't a tear. It was just something. Okay. I think a bone bruise or something like that.
Right. So I mean now KC's onto their 3rd string. So the Raiders may win this game. If I'm Pete Carroll, I'm trying to figure out ways to lose this game. Literally.
Yeah. And then the Giants, who are currently with the number 2 overall pick, they're facing the Cowboys. they should lose that game. I mean, who knows though? I mean, is Dallas going to play their starters? I mean, I think they are, but I'm not
I
sure.
think that I think they will just to kind of stick it to the Giants and maybe put a little bit of a dagger in their draft hopes. Maybe obviously would they stay at 2 if they lose this game?
If they lose this game and the Raiders win it, they would move up to 1, and then the Raiders would move back down to 2.
So that
And then they
would
could
be
trade
wild.
it back, and then they could trade it. Well, yeah, it's a lot of implications because I don't think the Bills are gonna lose against the Jets. I don't think
and I don't think the Cowboys are gonna lay down and die for the Giants. I don't think the Cowboys care that. Yeah, I don't think the Cowboys care that if they beat the Giants, or the Giants move up a spot and they could get an even better selection. They don't care. I think they're gonna try and win that game.
And yeah, that's basically all the implications. Now let's move on to the last game we have to talk about right here. And yes, that is a Sunday Night Football matchup, Week 18. This is where it's all about right here for the AFC North. The Baltimore Ravens, who miraculously jumped back in the race after seeming to be dead for a few weeks, against Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who choked on some Reggie Miller esque fill-in against the Cleveland Browns this past week. They were more worried of not giving Myles Garrett the sack record, and they forgot to win the game. So that's what happens. But yes, we have this matchup in Pittsburgh. No DK Metcalf, no tight end Darnell Washington, broken arm as well. TJ Watt is hopeful to play, and none other than Lamar Jackson will be starting this game, officially announced. He will be starting this game for the Baltimore Ravens. He said, I do not quit on my team. It doesn't matter if he was saying that no matter what, he was going to play this game, try to play his game. Paraphrasing it. But this is a huge matchup right here. One of these teams will get home field advantage. Not home field advantage, but a home field playoff game in the wild card. Who do you think wins this game, JV? And a breakdown how you see this game being played.
I'm going with the Ravens, bro. I just think right now, like you said, offensively, Pittsburgh looks like they can't score. DK being out is going to be is obviously a problem. And not for nothing, if Rodgers is getting hit in that pocket, he's not going to be able to produce anything himself. So that O-line is going to have to really come correct and protect Aaron at all costs, literally. And I just don't see anybody defensively on Pittsburgh's side stopping Derrick Henry. I think this guy is a man possessed. I think he's going to try to run his way to get this team to the playoffs. And not for nothing, if Lamar could just play smooth football, make sound decisions, don't try to be something that you're not, don't try to overextend, don't try to force throws into double coverage, which sometimes he does, try to make a play when there's no play there. I think they'll be fine. The way the Ravens lose this game is if they do it to themselves. It's not going to be Pittsburgh beating them. It's going to be the Ravens beating themselves, whether it's turnovers, not being able to run the ball properly and efficiently, and if Lamar's making crazy decisions where he's putting his team in a bad spot. So I do think that the Ravens have enough firepower to win this game and take home the AFC North.
As much as I would want to pick Rodgers to win this game, I don't see a way the Steelers win this game. I don't care that they're playing at home. I don't care if they have Baltimore's number. Baltimore, after the way that they beat us down, put belt to ass against us this past week.
Yeah,
I don't see a way they lose this game. I think all of the momentum in the world, which is going to be scary, whoever faces them in the playoffs. If they're heading with this type of momentum, Lamar has heard a lot of people, I'll put it quite frank. Lamar has had a lot of people in the media talk shit about him, saying like, oh, he's quitting on his team, this and that. This guy's been dealing, and I don't try to make excuses, but it is like this guy has been dealing with hella injuries this year, and he's been at the end of the day trying to get on the field for his guys. And he said it today in the interview. He said, I'm not quitting on my team. That's why he's playing this week, because he knows the implications. Harbaugh said, as long as they get in the dance, roll the dice. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Roll the dice afterwards. And if they get in the dance, Mahomes is not in the dance. Allen and the Bills have been shaky. You guys have anything could happen. If you guys get in, there's a good chance. It would be a plus and then a bad thing. It'd be a plus because it'd be all right, Lamar, here's your chance. Here's the best chance you're gonna have to make a Super Bowl run right here, bro.
Right. It really is the truth.
If you don't do it, then it's all all right, you're overrated, my guy. Another year, this time with no Mahomes in the playoffs. Same thing for Allen. It goes same thing for Allen as well. No Mahomes for both of y'all, man. No Burrow as well. Both of y'all. Y'all got to understand, if y'all don't do it this year, y'all not going to probably do it at all, man. Because 100% right. Burrow's probably going to come back next year. The way they've been looking these past few weeks offensively, great. If he comes back and he's healthy, the Bengals are going to be back in the mix next year. If Mahomes is healthy, the Chiefs are about to have a good draft pick for the first time in how many years?
I
And
know.
you know, like their Chiefs are going to be right back at it. So think about it like this: if the Ravens get in, I do believe they have a chance to go on a run. I really do, and I do believe that the Ravens will win this game. Man, is DK Metcalf regretting that decision he made right now because they need. And I'm not saying, obviously whatever went down. I mean, that's going to be disclosed like in court or however it gets dealt with, everything like that with the fan. But it's like more so for the team aspect and the Steelers aspect of it. I could only imagine how much he's needed for in a game like this. And the fact that their backup target, Washington, who sometimes would push plays and extend plays from 7 yards to actually getting the first down, he broken arm now. It is critical and it is down bad that the Steelers are in offensively. I mean, you saw against the Browns, they were struggling their ass off to even,
absolutely.
And when they got into the red zone in that last drive, they failed. They went they went 4 and out.
And not for nothing. I mean, there's times where this offense is anemic, even with Metcalf out there.
Yeah.
So I think without Metcalf being there at all now, it's just going to be twice as hard, obviously. And you know what? Shame on DK Metcalf. You're in this league long enough. You were drafted a few years ago. You played in Seattle for, I believe it was 4 years or 3 years. Now you're with Pittsburgh, and they run a tight ship, obviously, with Mike Tomlin being there for 20-plus seasons and Aaron Rodgers doing what he's done. You can't do things like that to cost your team a potential playoff spot, or and now you're out, and now you've been suspended and you're out. And what does that say? It says, yes, your emotions got the best of you. You don't know how to control yourself, and now when your team needs you in the biggest of spots to wrap up Week 18 and to end the year, you're not going to be there. And your quarterback needs all hands on deck in order to be successful. And you were one of those pieces, DK, that made Aaron successful in this Pittsburgh offense, and now you're not there. So it's going to be a tough calling, and that's why I'm taking the Ravens. I think the Ravens pull this out.
And I will say also, shame on the NFL for allowing that fan to come back.
Absolutely.
There was an instance when DK was with Seattle last year where DK filed a complaint when the Seattle Seahawks were in Detroit last year. He filed the complaint. And they didn't do anything about it. I mean, obviously the guy was still able to go. And in this matchup with the Steelers a few weeks ago, he was right there, and that's how the altercation happened. Shame on the NFL for even allowing this guy to enter. And from multiple reports, fans that were nearby, because the NFL had people go ask questions, people nearby, he was saying some really messed up stuff and some really stuff that we're not going to mention here, but I mean, shame on the NFL for even allowing this guy to get back into the stadium, the field, because at the end of the day, that's a big mess up.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like you said, big drop of the ball there by the NFL and their administration, and that's just a shame. There's no room for that in any setting, whether it's sports or regular life. So like I said, I think this game would be a lot different if DK was there to participate. I'd say it would be a neck and neck, but I'm gonna go Ravens here.
Yeah, I also, like I said, just to solidify my prediction, I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I think big type of feeling. This is gonna be a playoff game-esque feeling as well for the AFC North. I do believe the Ravens will get in. So if we go back to kind of wrap up the video and see this playoff seed, JV would have the 49ers getting the 1 seed, the Seahawks basically switching to the 5th seed, which I'm not gonna lie, if I'm Seattle, even if you do, I mean, whichever one of these teams go to the 5th seed and has to go to either Carolina or Tampa, depending how it goes, I wouldn't be upset. I'll be honest.
No, absolutely not. It's actually a great way to think if you're looking at it that way. That's a really good point.
And you won't get rusty also, so you'll be playing another week.
True.
That's just I guess in a bright side of whichever team. I mean, whichever team does end up losing this game, I think beats the Panthers or Buccaneers, to be honest. And that's not a spoiler, but
no, I agree. I agree with that 100%. I just don't think Carolina has enough firepower on both sides of the ball to make a deep run into the playoffs.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. And then do you have anything switching up on the AFC side, or more so? I mean, we have the Ravens getting in as a
I was literally about to say that's the only thing I have. I have the Ravens swapping out with the Steelers there. No, I think the Broncos, obviously they lock that up, and it's going to be interesting to see. So no, other than the Pittsburgh being switched out with Baltimore, I don't have anything changing here at all.
I think the only thing else I would have changing is probably the 6 and 7 seed. I think the Bills are probably going to get the 6 seed because they beat the Jets, and I think since the Chargers are going to lose to the Broncos, I think they'll go to the 7 seed. That's the
Okay.
only thing. That's the only thing I have changing. Would I be surprised if either the Broncos, Pats, or Jags lose? Yes, I would, because they're facing, not to mention, like very below average opponents.
Yeah,
So I'd be
100%.
very
Yeah.
surprised. I could technically see a world where the Bears go to the 3 seed and the Eagles go to the 2nd seed if the Eagles do beat the Commanders, and the Bears lose to the Lions. It's possible. I think we'll stay the same though. But yeah, I think this is how I see it going. And I think there's going to be some great games to wrap up this week 18. We're finally done with the NFL regular season this week. Any final words you want to say, JB?
No, it's gonna be a hell of a week. I think there's a lot of really good games that are gonna be played. I think there's gonna be a lot of spoilers that may come out of the woodwork that we don't realize, and we say, "Oh my God, how did this happen?" And we didn't see this coming. So I think the final week is going to offer a lot. I think we're going to finally see some of the obviously the seedings are going to fall into place, and finishing off the playoff bracket in the picture, heading in for both conferences, the AFC and the NFC. But I do think there's going to be a couple of games where some teams that aren't going to make it act as a spoiler, maybe ruin someone else's party.
Real quick, which game are you most excited for in this final week? And we'll leave it out to you guys in the comment section as well. Let us know. But who do you got?
Not for nothing. I know this may sound absolutely insane, but besides the Niners and the Seahawks game, I really kind of am excited for this Carolina and Tampa game. I really am. Yeah, I kind of want to see how these teams respond.
If I had to pick one, I would say the Seahawks Niners is probably the game I'm most excited for because I think that's going to be, it's going to be a great game. As long as, McCaffrey's going, JSN's going, all these offensive threats are going. And even if, the 49ers could at least play somewhat of lick of defense right there, I think that's going to be a stellar game. I'm pretty excited about the Bengals Browns. No, just kidding. Now imagine.
Oh my.
Nobody's watching that game. Who's watching that game? Let's be honest.
Listen, with the way things have been going, I don't think Joe Burrow wants to even be at that game.
Nah, yeah, absolutely not.
So
I was going to troll you and say the Jets and Bills, but you're probably still going to be watching that game. No,
listen, even when the Jets were on primetime at least 6 times last year, the only reason why they were even thrown into that slot was because of Aaron Rodgers, and he happened to not even be there. So he was out the whole year. They had like 5 or 6 games where they were on primetime TV, and it was brutal each time. So
yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. The last thing I will say, Steelers-Ravens, this could be Rodgers' last game ever played.
True. Very true.
I doubt it. I kind of doubt it, to be honest. I think he'll play one more year with the Steelers, depending if Tomlin stays. Depending. Big F right there.
I do think if Tomlin leaves, I don't think Rodgers stays. No, I think he might retire. I think he might retire at that point as well. I was going to say, I don't think he actually will look to go elsewhere. I think he'll hang it up.
Yeah. If Tomlin does stay, I do see another year for him, at least one more year, and they maybe, I don't know, bring another weapon or another receiver, something like that. Just depends, but I will be tuned into that game because if that's the last game I see of Rodgers being played, it's going to be a banger right there. AFC North implications, banger, absolute banger. So
absolutely,
we'll see how it goes. Let us know your Week 18 predictions in the comment section right here. As always, make sure to subscribe to JBM Sports Media here on YouTube. Go follow us on TikTok and IG. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.